Hi, welcome to our first Ask BINC attempt. I call it an attempt because this is take number 5 on getting started. Try getting a bunch of recruiters together who are normally able to hide behind the phone and all they want to do is giggle when you put them on camera. But we're here to talk about what's going on really in our world. So first episode, I think we're going to talk a little bit about what it is exactly the hell that we should talk about. I'm Grant. I lead our Seattle recruiting efforts, and I'll let the rest of the guys introduce themselves as well. This is exactly what we've been facing for 5 takes.
This is Boris Epstein. He's actually our CEO, by
Can you
far and
believe
away
that?
the most mature one here.
Next.
I'm Cameron Thompson. I run the LA practice here.
Eli Gaming.
I'm Peter. I'm the Senior Research Associate. If that means anything.
CRO.
He's our Chief Research Officer around the office here. So I don't know, guys. We managed to do a test run yesterday, and we came up with some pretty good topics, and we decided, hey, we should just put these on film and let our audience at large, or our audience at small, figure out what the hell we should actually talk about. What did we come up with yesterday?
I think we were still trying to figure out whether or not we were going to talk about, you know, the marketplace in terms of like what's hot right now, what's not, or comparing and contrasting LA and Seattle, and obviously the Bay, and then also kind of mixing and making it more like candidate focused, like what's a good job or career path to be on, you know, interview tips, things along that line, things that will help people get jobs versus the marketplace itself.
I think it's still a question we haven't really decided. Do we want this to be more about us just talking about what's going on in the world that we pretty much just oversee? Because like we pretty much just have like an overlook of the whole software marketplace because we dabble in all different markets. Or is this more of like this is what ideal candidates should look like, this is what you should do, this is an interview process, this is how everything should work. I think that's still a question mark we haven't really answered.
I think one thing that we could do that we didn't really talk about was just talk about like more of a day in the life of what we go through, you know, instead of like, you know, what really matters to our candidates and our clients, what matters to us, and what makes our job easier, because I think in turn that'll probably help out both our candidates and their clients if they get a better perspective for actually what we do. I think a lot of times candidates, you know, think of us, you know, sometimes when they're not looking for a job, like we're toner salesmen, you know, and we're just sitting here calling.
Instead we're just UFC fighters.
Like we're calling off some like magical list or something, you know. And then I think a lot of times clients don't really have any idea what goes into, you know, 1, generating interest in their company, 2, finding the people, 3, taking care of all their concerns. A lot of the concerns that candidates have, the companies never know about. You know, and it's up to us to be that buffer. And I think, you know, it's like that movie Jerry Maguire a lot of the time where the guy that's cut out of the photo, you know, the clients tend to think that a lot of the time the candidate will take the job if they want the job. And you know, you're not going to go to your client and tell him, well, he thinks this and he thinks that and he thinks your benefits suck, and you know, they don't know like the hours of time that we spend with these guys, realistically, like closing them on the opportunity. Name recognition and salary, or name recognition for the company and salary, a lot of the time aren't enough to get someone to take a job. Sometimes they need that push. It's not just really, you know, a sale. I mean, it's these people's lives, and it's probably where they're going to spend. I mean, no one retires with companies anymore. No one's there for 20 years, but it's where they're going to spend the next 3 to 5 years of their life, and that not only affects them, but it affects their families, and it affects, you know, really everything around them. So
I'm really glad we were finally able to get an intelligent thought out. Way to go, Ken. That was a good start. I think intelligent thought number 1 for the Ask BINC video series. Yeah,
we'll blow it soon, don't worry.
So we've got one. I think that, and you guys have kind of scattered around it, but it seems like we have the 10,000-foot view of what's going on in the software marketplace, and like really what's hot, what's going on, what it takes to be successful. We have like the 1,000-foot view of the interview process and what's going on, and like we're intricately involved in the process and kind of the questions that are being asked and things like that. But what we're really completely and utterly immersed in is we're recruiters, our own lives. And so we can kind of provide a little bit of a different angle and perspective on a lot of different things, but it's, you know, what do we think people are going to get the most out of? Do they get the most out of the 10,000-foot view that we can provide because it's a lot broader, a lot more broad? And then you go back to English class. A lot more of a broad, I don't know. But one way or the other, what's more valuable? Is that like a kind of broad, high-seated view better? Or, I mean,
I say
is
change
there
it up.
benefit in it?
I say the whole thing be just like a perspective, like from a headhunter's perspective, pretty much. I mean, we have the luxury of what each of us talk about, what, 50 candidates a day, about 10, 15 companies a day. So I mean, we're hearing a ton of different stories, ton of different like perspectives, ton of different like opinions, ideas, and we soak it all in and kind of come to our own conclusion. It's like a lot of people, companies and candidates are kind of in their own like little world. They're like, oh, I'm working for Google and I'm in an interview with 3 companies, and that's kind of like the world as I see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Companies, like, I have my VC firm, I know my competitors, and it's kind of like my world as I see it, but they don't really kind of, you know, have that same kind of perspective that we're able to have of the market. So just talking about whatever it is that we find of interest that day, that week, you know, check out what's hot in like the news, the blogs, whatever. Talk about that, you know. If we have some interesting like situations going on with candidates and clients, you know, see if we can sense some kind of like a pattern or something like that of like what's going on. Talk about that. You know what I mean?
I think we get treated the same way that we do our blog. Our blog isn't really focused. It's just, you know, random thoughts, put them down on paper or on a computer screen.
So like, what's the tagline? Is it like Tales from a Headhunter's Perspective or something like that? Like, is that what it is? Do we have a tagline?
I don't know.
Isn't it your
I
blog?
think it could be like the same principle, just like a you know, collaborative video blog, basically, whatever we're thinking about, you know.
Yeah, and then people watch it for like a week straight, for like a month straight. They'll watch every episode and they'll start to get some kind of like, you know, theme.
Yeah.
The theme will emerge.
Or it'll push something really important that was in their mind out, and it'll replace that, therefore making them more stupid.
Yeah, I think
Not stupid.
indirectly,
Not stupider.
probably, I just think indirectly people will probably gain something out of just getting a glimpse inside of, you know, our office and our brains. It doesn't have to be like, make sure you wear a tie when you go interview and show up 15 minutes late, and if you're on time, you're late, like all that stupid stuff. I mean, we could do that, and there's definitely a space for that, but I think just, you know, like I said, giving them a glimpse into just daily life of a headhunter.
Yeah,
will
if there were
get
five,
something out of that.
if there were 5 software engineers that just sat around and like we wanted a glimpse into like their world and their lives and like kind of how they think, and I might watch that.
Yeah.
I probably would, but I might watch that. I don't know.
Yeah, that would be interesting. A lot of talk about like Super Mario Bros. And stuff like that. Sorry.
So what are
This is our gamer, by the way.
These are our gamers' feelings.
So what are some of the hot topics right now? What do candidates care about right now?
Commuting.
No one likes to commute.
Especially in
Gas
Los
prices are high.
Angeles, yeah. That's probably the main recurring theme in LA is, you know, I want to work 10 minutes, you know, away from where I live, and that's just.
It's same in
LA,
San
it's
Francisco
impossible.
too.
Yeah.
Because in the San Francisco, in like the Bay, I remember it used to be everything was relatively commutable, you know.
Yeah.
Now it's like everything's just 3 different hubs within it, and there's not as much interchangeability between that.
I think what the Bay has, though, that we really don't have here, I mean, we're starting to now, but they just have, the public transportation is great.
Yeah.
You know, like, yeah, it's a pain in the ass, but truth be told, you could, you know, hop on a train and, you know, if you live in San Jose and be in San Francisco, it probably won't take that long. You got your laptop with you. In LA, I mean, everyone's on the 405, stuck in traffic. You know, can't do any work, can't do anything. So I think it's a little bit tougher out here, but I think obviously with gas prices going up, although they seem to be dropping a little bit now.
Yeah.
But,
Didn't they do some kind of study where they like compared like taking public transport to like the price of gas or the cost and driving, and they were like it was about the same because public transportation is pretty expensive down here in LA at least.
Yeah. I don't know, in Seattle it's pretty cool though. It's cheaper. I'll throw a whoop whoop out to Seattle because it's pretty cool. I actually had a candidate who was working in downtown Seattle and took a job out on the east side, and pretty much what he figured out is he could walk 3 blocks and catch a bus and then be in Seattle or be over on the east side, and he would not actually ever be driving his car, and the bus pass was something that his employer would provide, and then he had free wireless internet on the bus all the way over to the east side.
Microsoft runs their own buses.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of like I think there are a lot of companies. I know Google does
Google
does
does
the
that
same thing, at least in San Francisco. So I think there are a lot of bigger companies that are providing that kind of stuff. And actually, there's a great topic. Well, what is like I've heard my buddy just took a job, not in software, like totally unrelated, but he was talking about all like the cool intangible benefits that his company provided him, like a gym membership and like matching contributions on charitable donations. Like little stuff like that employers are doing. Like how important is that stuff? I think that's that's a topic that could have some value. I mean, you look at Microsoft, Google, a lot of the big players out there. I mean, those are companies that we're seeing on a pretty daily basis. Amazon, another company that we run the same circles with. And they're providing things, like health club memberships and your entire family covered by medical from day one, and these crazy commuter options, and Google's 20% time and
Massages, lunches.
massages, yeah.
The relocation packages nowadays.
Yeah, but
too.
those are like, in my opinion at least, they're like extreme examples of like what a company could do to like,
Well, hell, even
Just
like my startup clients are catering lunch 5 days.
No,
a
but that's
week
what I'm saying.
now.
What can startups do to like compete with some of these big boys?
Well, how
Big
much
boys,
of an
it makes
impact
sense.
does that really have on a candidate?
I think that's the first question. It doesn't matter.
I think a younger candidate definitely will. They'll be like, oh well, new job, I have a gym membership, but a
Sparkle,
guy
sparkle.
who's-
It's actually, I think, older. Yeah.
Thought he's trying to fly like a helicopter person.
We're gonna take a quick break. Look for part 2 on YouTube next.